Let's take a look at some classroom examples. This is from a grade 5 and 6 classroom that's focused on science. And they've created what we call a learning wall, where they're putting up the big question for the unit that's going to override the entire unit, so that it's always at the forefront of the learning. So they chose, what are the sources of energy and why is it important to conserve energy? So it's kind of two questions in one, but they knew that those two areas, sources and conserving, were the two focus places that they wanted to go with this particular unit. This is the same grade 5-6 classroom, and here's the science question for the grade 6s. Considering the impact space exploration can have on society and the environment, is space exploration worth investing? So what they wanted to do was have two questions, one for the grade 5s focused on their science unit and one for the grade 6s focused on their science unit. But there was still some kind of connection between them so that the entire class could have conversation. As you can see, the question is very open-ended. There's lots of ways that you can respond to it, and their entire unit would come back to, how has this learning we've done today, these activities that we've done, this experience that we've had, connect and respond to this particular question. In this slide, you can see it's the same grade 5-6 classroom of science, and you can see the entire learning wall coming together. So you see the question for the grade 5s on the left, and you see the question for the grade 6s on the right. What you see below it is what we call a learning wall. This is a bulletin board that goes beyond just the traditional learning wall, which is very static. This is an interactive wall. So after each lesson, after each experience that they've had, focused on those inquiry questions at the top, in the bubbles, the students will then put aspects of their learning, what they're understanding, that's working towards that question on the learning wall. So as you can see on the space side, they have various other questions, bigger topic ideas that they're focused on, and the post-it notes show what their understanding and thinking is at that particular time. As the unit goes on, they add different aspects to the wall. What's great about this is that the learners then can go and use the wall as a resource. So it's not just about the consolidation part, it's like, what have we learned? What do we understand? What do we do at the beginning? What do I need to remember? It then becomes a resource. When they're doing quizzes and tests, etc., they are allowed to use the wall as a resource because it was their learning. The grade 5s on the left, you can see they're at the beginning stages of thinking about energy, and they can see some of the bigger topics that they're going to be focused on, and then they will be adding their learning to that as well. Within the center, in the green box, you will see that there's the culminating task. So they know what they're working towards. They have their inquiry question, the board outlines all the learning, and then how they're going to show their understandings at the end comes together in the culminating task. This is a really nice example of how to do guided inquiry.